today we are reviewing The Flash Season 5, Episode 13.
13.
Good plan. And this episode is called Goldface. So for this one, we get to see Ralph and Barry kind of like go do their own thing, and a lot of other side stories. So this one has a lot of different side stories, and it's not like one whole together. So like Barry and Ralph is going to go meet Goldface to collect a tool like in a black market so they can beat out Cicada, and Caitlin's trying to help them. And then Iris is on her hunt news reporting stuff, and Nora and Sherlock Wills is like in their own thing. So
yes, so Ralph, Barry, Caitlin, and Cisco, who's not really in the episode, but he's kind of the whole idea is he's working behind the scenes. They are still trying to develop that Metacure serum, but they have to find a way to be able to get that inserted into Cicada. Now, they still don't know that Cicada is not really the main bad guy. That the main bad guy is Grace, and Nora hasn't really told them everything, and we'll get to that a little bit later on why. Yeah. But Ralph and Barry, they figure out that the only way to get such an item is they have to go to the black market to be able to get tech. And that because that tech was taken by bad people. So they go to the black market and they end up getting these bracelets that deepens their powers. So they're metahumans. They're metacuffs. Yeah. That's what they are. So that was their part. Then you have Iris. She started her little news reporting company, and she decided that the first thing she was going to do is try and find out Cicada, how to get.
She was going to get information and write about Cicada, just like how she did with DeVoe. Right. And people were like helping her on it and giving her information. So people would be like knowing about his whereabouts, so they would be able to protect themselves. Right. So she was going to do that. Then
lastly, Nora is working with Eobard to find, and Eobard explains to Nora a way to get Sherlock off her case, because Sherlock is starting to get to her, and she gets scared, so she tells Eobard, and Eobard tells her that he knows exactly what to do to get Sherlock off of Nora's case. Now, what is that? They end up making Sherlock meet his wife
in Earth 1.
In Earth 1, which is the same wife in all the other Earths.
So Ralph and Barry, they're kind of like, they have to get to Goldman in order to get what weapon they need to buy. But in the process of doing so, Barry saw all these weapons in the black market that can kill CCPD, can kill anyone, period. Yeah. So he wants to buy all of it, get it all off the market, and it got Barry and Ralph into this suspicious looking for Goldface. But Barry got them out of it, and Goldface said, I will help you guys and give what you want until you do one thing for me. There is a organ printer, that 3D printing organ, whatever, and he needs to steal it from the hospital so that he can sell it and make it in the black market. So they need to complete that before they get what they want. So they end up going, and Barry's like, Barry can't kill for these stuff. So Ralph ends up locking Barry in the car while Ralph goes and tries to just complete the mission. And in the process of doing so, he found the 3D printing organ, but he felt bad that he shouldn't do it because those organs were going to babies, children's. So he ended up aborting the mission, and it got the two of them caught. And then they end up fighting them, and Goldface come, and they end up fighting him too, and all this stuff like that.
Yeah, so you find out that Goldface is a meta. They defeat him, and
he's still alive.
They defeat Goldface. They get away. They don't get what they're looking for, so they scrap that plan. Iris, on the other hand, ends up going to Cicada's house using the sketch that they saw what Nora drew, and she kind of tries to find out what makes him tick. Mm-hmm. He shows up at home, and in which she has to pretend like she's reporting on something else. Everything goes wrong. She has to escape, and Nora and Iris fights Cicada, and she stabs him with her pen.
No, with the butter knife.
I thought it was her pen.
No, she grabbed the butter knife, and he hit it, and it fell off, and she picked it up, and she went.
Oh, I thought it was her pen, but she stabs him in the spot where he was hit by the shard. Now, it shows that Cicada hasn't fully healed. That shard is still stuck there, and so it makes it where that spot is the part that is vulnerable. It makes him vulnerable. She stabs him, runs away, and he runs away because he knows that police are coming. So he gets away, and Barry, they show up just to find out that he's not there. But Iris tells them that she knows he has a weakness now that they can target. Because at this point, they had thought that he had no weakness. They had thought he was extremely powerful, but when you have a regular person able to hurt him, it just shows you how vulnerable he is as a meta-human. You know, he's really good at fighting other metas, but in terms of fighting humans, he's practically a human. Yeah.
Yeah. And then for Nora and Sherlock, so Nora is trying to help Sherlock fall in love with this lady, Renee Adley in Earth 1. But in doing so, he kind of like comes off all wrong and like a stalker to her because he knows everything about her. Because she's pretty much the same in all of the other Earth and everything. And so she rejects him and he feels all bad about it. So Nora decides to contact all of his wives, and they meet up, and he's like, now you just reveal to them where I'm at. I've been hiding. I'm behind on alimony money. Now you just reveal where I'm at. So his wives are like, we're not going to help you. You are going to forever be alone, and they all leave. And Nora's all like, you have to probably take this at a different approach, I mean, you're never going to be forever alone. You have to approach it differently. So he approaches her again and differently, and she likes him, and she gives him her number. And just when she walks out the door, she goes, phew, and the door just opens. And Sherlock goes, oh crap, she's a meta.
Yeah, so
in Earth 1, she's a meta.
So Sherlock learns that his wife, or not yet, is a meta. But Nora, the whole point is to get him to not pay attention to Nora anymore.
Yeah. By knowing that she's a meta, he's going to focus on it, try to fix it. He's going to forget about Nora.
Right. So we get a lot this episode. We got a lot of Ralph and Barry Allen partnership. You kind of got to see that before they had gone their separate ways. They were actually like really cool with each other, and they trust each other a lot. They know each other a lot. So Ralph he knows, like, even that Barry, in his heart, Barry would never be able to hurt people, and he would never be able to kill anybody because that's not who he is. And so it kind of shows you a little bit of things that can potentially cause suffering for Barry later in the Flash, that his friends and people like Ralph who know him so well, they're not gonna let him get into harm's way because they know he doesn't have the heart to do it. And
it's gonna cost them to be harmed instead of him.
Right. Because Ralph gets his ass whooped pretty hard by Goldface.
And then Barry just like
and Barry had to come up with a smart thinking that gold obviously is a super duper, good conductor of electricity, and so he used that to his advantage to beat Goldface. Now, we do get the trailer, which this episode was kind of like a setup to future moments. But the trailer for tomorrow's episode, Tuesday's episode.
I'm like, tomorrow already?
Wow! Is called Cause and Excess, in which Nora is going to go through what Barry had gone through about trying to change time.
Yeah, so Iris gets into serious danger for this coming up episode, and Nora is trying to save her mother, and in the time of doing so, she is like constantly having to repeat over and over, trying to save everyone, because it's now Iris getting in trouble, but it causes everyone to be involved, and she's like rewinding time, but it's like not helping.
Yeah, so she thinks that because of her ability to rewind time, she can essentially make changes and not create situational problems. But that's why, like, Barry has always said to everybody who does time traveling, like, you can't do it just because you want to. Like, even though the whole point of Nora and Eobard, they're saying, oh, we discovered that time is malleable. Time, yeah, you can bend time. You could make little bit of changes to time that changes outcomes. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's absolute. That it's something you can't touch. Because you're not supposed to, or that you can touch. Because you're not supposed to. Barry learned that not because Eobard told him. He learned that because the Speed Force told him that don't mess with the timeline. And so she's realizing that because she did all this, Iris was never supposed to know who Cicada is. She knows who Cicada is. Cicada knows who she is. You see, but Cicada doesn't know that she has nothing, that Iris knows the Flash, that Iris knows Barry, knows Nora. So he's just going to come and kill her. And so I think what's going to happen is Nora is now trying to save her from dying from Cicada. And that's her fault.
It's like Savitar all over again.
Right, that's her fault, because she was the one
who screwed it
up in the first place and came in and did all that, when in reality, like, you're not supposed to, because you don't mess with the time.
Yes, so that is what will be happening on Tuesday, and we will see what happens then. It says here that with this episode, Barry will be able to find the final touches to the meta-human care. So we will see what happens in that one.
Yes,
so
it's gonna be good.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a big. I think this is gonna be a big episode, because this is going to be like an episode focused on Nora, and that she has
this kind of like marks halfway for season 5,
yes.
So it's like, everything is finally coming in
so
place.
We should be at the climax at this
to
point.
get us ready to what's going to happen for the rest of the season.
Right.
Yeah, and so that is it for the review for Flash season 5, episode 13, and we will see you guys for episode 14.
See you guys.
Bye.